Hello and welcome to our daily recap of Race to World First coverage. I'm Dratnos, joined by Tuttles.
Yo, what's up? We're back. Pretty exciting day. I think all things considered, looked pretty solid just as a whole. We saw a lot of bosses go down that were important. Actually, that's probably a lie. A lot of fake bosses that went down, but I'm interested to see what has occurred. We, of course, have a 16-hour gap in NA, so EU people are probably commenting, hating.
Yes, of course, the EU players. So this is going to be the time we record these, right?
Yeah.
Is at night NA time.
12:51 local, by the way.
Yeah, pretty late local time. But this is the only time that both of us are like free. So that's when we'll be doing it here. Of course, both of us casting the Complexity Limit event. Currently, Complexity Limit are in the lead in the Race to World First, but we'll talk about that more in a bit. Let's start off with the big story of today. Well, not the big story, but a big story of today, which was the servers came up pretty quick.
Dude, okay, so I mean, across the whole entire, I don't know, expansion since COVID started recently, basically, NA maintenance has just been terribly long, to the point where even during Heroic Week we had, what did it end up being, like over 8 hours worth of maintenance, something just...
Heroic Week we got the Extendo,
Yeah, we got the Extendo Patronum for sure, and it was really good today, honestly. It was like 40 minutes of maintenance, maybe a little bit less, maybe 30 minutes, and so it was like right on time. Servers came up, and everybody got in the raid instance pretty quickly. Limit, of course, electing to run around Korthia, just kind of doing their own little thing, getting their new Renown 48 Covenant-specific legendaries. Other guilds, of course, we can tab into the early world firsts. We had Lazarus Imperative, BDGG.
Sonic's Imperative,
Sonic's Imperative, sorry. I didn't mean to call you the wrong name. Sonic's Imperative, BDGG.
Their new sponsor, of course.
Complexity Limit getting some really early world firsts, though, with Sonic's Imperative taking down most of those, getting Terragru, Eye of the Jailer, and the 9.
Yeah, Sonic's Imperative, all 3 of those first world firsts, actually a really impressive performance as well. Their pull counts on those bosses were insanely low.
I was really surprised.
Even relative to guilds coming later like Complexity Limit, BDGG, Sonic's Imperative looked really good on those first 3, so that was a big success point in the day for them.
Yeah, I mean, to round out the rest of the 5, we have Blood Legion at the 4th, and then Flashpoint KTB. Honestly, just a pretty solid day, all things considered, from all of these guilds, as you can see on screen right here. Complexity Limit first, Sonic's Imperative second, BDGG third.
Blood Legion in 4th, and Flashpoint KTB in 5th. This is the Warcraft Logs competition mode page. We'll have a link to this. That it basically just auto-updates with the state of the race. It's a very cool little page to bookmark here.
Sonic's Imperative, 90 pulls on Ner'zhul.
Yeah, so that's the state of the race right now. Sonic's Imperative, 4% off of advancing to 4 of 10. BDGG very close as well. They are 50 pulls in on Remnant.
I suspect that both of these guilds, maybe one of these guilds, will end up getting Ner'zhul down prior to going to sleep tonight.
Yeah, I think there's a good chance that even by the time this video is out, one of these guilds will be at 4 of 10.
Yeah, exactly. Certainly something that can happen for sure.
Blood Legion headed over to Soul Render instead. They're still very early in progression on that boss, although we have some more to talk about on that boss later in the show.
Yeah, check that bottom topic. Soul Render nerf? 3 question marks?
And Flashpoint KTB also working on Remnant. A little bit higher in health, though, than the other guilds that are closing in on that kill.
Yeah, of course.
So looking at the top of our leaderboard here, you can see Limit at that 5 of 10. Things really started going well for them in the afternoon. They got to that Remnant and Ner'zhul, took it down in about 15 pulls.
That was sick.
Yeah, they destroyed that thing. It was incredibly impressive to see. A very tough-looking boss as well. You got all sorts of different mechanics and overlaps in the end of the fight, and they made it look easy.
Yeah, I mean, they were mass dispelling the knockback, which was really scary. And then once they ended up getting deeper into the fight, a lot of people thought that was going to cause them problems, but they handled it like champs and were able to just take that down super quick, and then moved on to Soul Render, which started to wall them off. And like, it walled them so hard that they ended up having to break kind of into heroic splits even. There was some armor stack splits being done a little bit early. Normally in Race to World First, we get this kind of Monday heroic split prison.
It's sometimes, like, I think last time it was like Thursday or Friday that they broke for heroic, maybe.
Yeah.
It was like before Sludge Fist. This time around, though, yeah, heroic they haven't done all the heroic splits, but they started doing them in response to the state of Soul Render, which they were pulling at the time, and that boss was quite hard for a 5th boss in a raid tier.
I mean, they started 6 healing it at some point. Like,
Yeah.
that should say all you need. Like,
They were 6 healing, and then they ran into the Enrage at 20% health
and
on
they
a
were like,
pull.
oh, this. I mean, they didn't say it was not doable. I mean, it certainly was doable if they gave it enough attempts at that current state, but it wasn't doable for basically anybody else, especially being the 5th boss in an instance, 4th to 5th boss in an instance. Like, it's really not doable.
So then
So yeah, they broke for splits, and like you were about to say,
Blizzard rolled in with some nerfs to Soul Render mid-progression here. Very fast response on the nerfs as well, coming out from Blizzard Entertainment. So they smoothed out the unreasonable damage spikes, which were causing a lot of deaths
yes,
from the Unleashed Tyranny.
So the Unleashed Tyranny is what happens whenever you break the chain.
Yeah.
I think that's like the important thing that you probably don't know is like once you break the chain, it was doing just way too much damage. We saw like Fired Up getting insta-killed. We saw basically everybody who were breaking their own chain getting insta-killed if they weren't inside of an AMZ, didn't have an AM up or something like that. And then on top of that, they kind of buffed the I would say buffed the echoing scream damage.
They nerfed it, right?
They make it tick every 2 seconds.
Yeah, but it's doing the same damage over time, except on Mythic where it's doing 10% less. Right?
Exactly.
So yeah.
But at the end of the day, they ended up being still about at 77k damage taken per second. So they were at very similar levels of damage taken per second.
It's a lot smoother though.
But it's a lot smoother of a curve, and you're going to get less one-shot. So, I mean, Soul Render ended up getting nerfed. Limit ended up taking it down 4 pulls after it got nerfed, so really quick turnaround on that. And then moved on to some nice Painsmith off-broadcast pulls that
so
we can't talk about.
They killed off Soul Render, and then at that point it was like midnight.
Yeah.
So they were like, all right, we'll turn off the streams. We're just going to go and make sure that Painsmith works the way we think it does, and we will get to see how much of that is the case tomorrow. Yeah.
We'll also get to see EU has their reset tomorrow, and we're going to get to see how some of those other guilds, top guilds, fare. I'm excited to see how Echo Piece's method, all of those guys end up shaking up, and I wonder what our top 5 is going to be tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm sure that there will be some shakeup in our standings here. Of course, once again, the leaderboard as it stands as of right now, Complexity Limit are in the lead at 5 of 10, and then we've got a bunch of guilds at 3 of 10.
Mm-hmm.
So many different guilds have made it to that threshold. My guild's even at 3 of 10 right now.
You're so sick.
So cool. Yeah. How about you, Tettles? How's your guild doing?
We broke for heroic after 2.
Ooh.
After eyeball.
Ooh, you hate to hear that.
Yeah, whatever.
That is ooh.
Stop that.
We'll be back tomorrow with more coverage of the Race to World First. Until then, see ya. Later.